Hi, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. So, interestingly enough, I've been seeing men on my FYP talking about pick me women.
Watching a pick-me girl from the male perspective is one of the most entertaining things you can possibly do. I knew this one girl in college who pandered every single aspect of her life to the male gaze. The way she looked, how she acted, everything was pandered to hopefully one day attract the guy that she wanted. And I would be lying if I said she wasn't pretty. She was a very, very pretty girl. The problem was her actions and the way she treated her friends, especially when other guys were around, were huge turnoffs to almost every guy who picked up on it. I remember one time we were at a house gathering, right? And the guy that she wanted to get attention from was sitting on the couch next to another girl. So she calmly walked up to the one girl sitting next to the guy that she wanted attention from, and she asked, "Are you going to finish those 2 brownies? They're kind of big." This was one of her good friends, mind you. This was one of her best friends. You could tell immediately the girl who got asked that question felt extremely uncomfortable and threatened. And then this girl just smugly walked off. And that's I think that's one of the prime examples I have in my head of a pick me girl. It was entertaining to watch because it was so easy to pick up on. But I kind of feel bad for the other girl involved.
I know somewhere last year I posted a video about this guy asking why women like Pearl Davis and the rest are not being picked by the red pill men. A few men that I've seen who are talking about it, sharing their experiences and their stories about their pick me women and how they can see, they can tell when a woman is a pick me. And I don't know if the pick me women are aware, but men know. Okay, men know when you're being a pick me. Okay, you may think you're checking his boxes, but he knows that you're being a pick me. You may think agreeing with everything that he says, makes you the ideal woman, but he knows you're a pick me. Okay, you may think you offering to be the other version of things instead of what the other woman is, or you putting other women down and you talking down and talking bad about them behind their back, or you pushing your friend into the pool. I don't know if you remember that story of that lady who was at a party with her friend who pushed her friend into the pool for male validation. You may think you doing whatever you do for male validation, agreeing with them, accepting and talking for them. This is the reason why women like Pearl Davis are never picked. You may think they don't see it or they'll take boxes for you. No, they know. They know very well that you're being a pick me. Okay, they are aware of it. And to some of these men, they will take it and use it to their advantage. Okay, and the only person who is going to be suffering in this whole situation is you. But anyway, let's get into it.
I personally have stopped being friends with women based off of how men treat them. Okay, stay with me, sister, stay with me. So I had a friend and I've been knowing her since grade school. Cool person, right? But every time we would hang out and we'd talk about our dating life, she would always tell me about how men were asking her for money. Men were making her pay for the first date or go 50-50, or telling her I lost my wallet, or some egregious story happened when it was time to pay the bill, or they were asking to borrow her car or stay with her. It was just always something, and I would be shocked. I'd be like, girl, what are you talking? I would always be so intrigued because I've never had this experience. I've never been told to pay for, or asked to pay for a date. I don't do any of that. But I would be intrigued. And then when I hit 25, it was something that developed up here, the frontal lobe. I was like, oh, the reason why they are asking her these things or treating her this way is because of low self-esteem. And then I started to see it. I started to see it in the way she walked and the way she carried herself in the decisions. I started to see it naturally, right? And then I had another friend, cut her off too. She, every time we went out, it was men just naturally spoke very dirty to her. I'm talking about they were just very, I'm not gonna say they're aggressive, but they were just very sexual with her off the rip. Didn't even know her. Now, mind you, she did used to tell me, about some things she used to do, whatever, blah, blah. That's her business. But for men to even pick that up, I'm talking about on the first meeting, and they're being very, with her, and they wouldn't do that to me or the other girl that we used to hang out with, our other friend. they would only do it to her. That's because they could pick up that spirit. I'm telling you, men can read low self-esteem, low self-worth. They can read if you want their attention. They can read it all.
By the way, men can tell when a woman is pick me. I was talking about this with my brother, and he plays chess and games, and he was like, we can always tell when a girl is only there because she wants male validation. It's the way she talks and the way she acts. And yeah, some men play into it, but best believe they all know and they all get the ick. And the minute anybody else shows up that isn't looking for male validation, they immediately ghost that girl.
So this girl on Twitter brought up something so interesting. She basically brings up that one type of pick-me girl that people kind of overlook. And it's the pick-me girls that, like, you know, go on Twitter and TikTok and be like, oh my gosh, having guy friends aren't for the weak. My guy friends literally roasted me and made fun of my biggest insecurities. But it's cool because he literally got me a Slurpee. He's such a sweet guy. He's such a ride or die. And what makes this so pick-me is the fact that these women befriend boys who are so openly disrespectful to them because they seek male validation so badly that they're willing to put up with it, even if it means they get left at a party and they literally have their guy friend try to come back to get them and they're like, no, F you. And they'll still be friends with them because they seek male validation that badly, you know? And it's just like, I refuse to have my male friends treat me like that because I have guy friends too. It's not just, you know, I have girl and guy friends. And literally when my tire popped, my guy friends literally drove up and down the city for 4 hours to help me get my tire fixed so I can drive 3 hours home that day. Literally. That is the type of friend. My guy friends treat me with respect, just like how my girlfriends do. So the fact that they're willing to have these guy friends do the bare minimum and treat them like crap just to say that they have, you know, a guy crew is honestly very sad. It's just the same reason why women date men that literally hate them and disrespect them and treat them like garbage because they seek male validation so badly that they're willing to put up with the disrespect. But since this is not a relationship and they easily can walk away from friends because obviously they know they're being disrespected, they just want to, you know, be pick me so badly and then boast about it online and try to be like, oh, it's not for the weak. No, girl. You just seek male validation. That's literally it. Which is why they end up like making fun of other girls because the whole time the guys are making fun of her. So it's easier to make fun of other girls. So the pressure's not all on her. It was just an interesting like take on it because I never really even think about those pick-me girls because, you know, like for the longest TikTok has literally masked it to be like, oh yeah, guy friends are just brutal. No, if you have real guy friends, they're not brutal. They're actually really, really nice. Y'all just picked the wrong people to be friends with.
I saw this guy talking about his experience with pick-me girls and how as soon as a guy picks up on it, it's so embarrassing and obvious to see. It reminded me of my own experience I had with a pick-me girl, and it is bad. Like, it's so toxic. For context, this happened at a girl's house party, and the pick-me girl at the time liked me, but I didn't know it. I get there, me and my brother, we just kind of walk around, I'm talking to everybody, but then I ended up chatting it up with this girl, we'll call her Riri. When I tell you Riri was bad, she was bad. And the conversation flowed so nicely, I felt like I didn't have to try too hard to just go back and forth in conversation. Amazing. Then, mid-conversation, pick-me girl shouts my name and starts marching over to me. Again, I wasn't really too keen on what was going on. I just got there, so maybe she was just trying to greet me. Pull out a side hug. This little side hug method right here. She goes, frick that, and does a full frontal hug. Now, you know when you side hug about somebody and they go for a full hug and it's that little awkward stage? Well, she's wrapping her hands like these behind my back. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm like, yo. Anyway, she gets off and then she's like, oh, you know, how was the drive? How was this? All, you know, just idle conversation. I'm like, oh, it was good, you know, whatever. And, you know, Riri, she looking like, so after pick me skedaddles, me and Riri start talking again. And shortly after that, someone starts a Uno game. Now, if you know how Uno gets, how I get down, it's no game. So me and Riri go, sit at the table. It's about 8, 9 people there. And me and Riri are sitting next to each other. So we're still chatting while the game's going on. Pick me girl is across the table. And every time me and Riri would start laughing at something, she'd be like, what's the joke? What's the joke? But again, I still don't know what's going on. I have FOMO, so I'm kind of like, talking to her too, but now I'm trying to talk to Riri like more. So then I start shifting my full focus at Riri, and Pick Me Girl's not having none of that. She gets up, beelines like she's getting a drink, and then sits down right next to me. A dude was already sitting there. He comes back from the restroom like, that's my seat. And she goes, sit over there. And the dude's listening. I'm like, all right then. So I'm basically like, now I'm talking about the Riri again. And again, she's not having none. Pick Me Girl goes, so talking to Riri now, and goes, oh my gosh, I saw you guys are like talking about stories. Do you remember when you like got so drunk you threw up all over the place? Oh my God, that was so funny. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, at this point, I know what's going on. I'm like, oh, dang, that's dirty. But I look at Riri and she is white to the face. So I'm like, is this not just like a club drunk story? Like, what happened? Pick Me is Kiki cawing. Riri's about to cook a cry. And I'm sitting there like, what am I supposed to do? So Riri gets up and leaves, not the party, but just outside to kind of compose herself. And I'm going to go outside and make sure that she's okay. And Pick Me's like, oh, the game's still going on. The game's still going on. I'm like, I don't care about the game. What was that for? And then she's like, oh, it was just a joke. I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so I go outside to make sure Riri's okay. And she got her hands in her face. She's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm trying to like reassure her that you're okay. We all have crazy stories, okay? I'm no one to judge. And then Riri goes, that's not it. She's talking about the story about when my dad died and I drank so much that I threw up because I was depressed. This story is not the only one, but it's the one that comes up in my brain when it comes to Pick Me Girls. Expose a very personal and intimate moment in a girl's life just so you can get high ground. That's ridiculous.
I was actually literally gonna make a video on this today, so you kind of read my mind. But Pick Me Girls, they're the worst. Like, we could read them as well as you could read them. It's blatantly obvious when there's a Pick Me Girl. They're all about me. They kind of bring the energy of the room down because they're so self-centered. It's because they're insecure. Their insecurities are driving them to be Pick Me because probably growing up they didn't have a lot of male attention. They might have not had a dad in the picture. It's very psychological. There's a reason for it. I recently dealt with a Pick Me Girl. I'm not gonna say who they were, but it was very annoying. We could all tell it was a group of us. Everyone just was like, this girl is just so annoying. She was trying way too hard to, be cool in this group, and it's just be yourself. All you have to do is just be yourself, and if people like you for yourself, that's great. Don't try to be someone you're not. That goes for like any life situation. Just be yourself. But to answer your question, it's super obvious when someone's a Pick Me Girl. Like, it's so easy to pick up on. I feel like girls don't realize that guys can pick up on it too. So just be yourself. That's the most attractive thing.
I pay very close attention to how a woman talks about other women because it is a direct reflection of how she views herself. It's not just about her having small talk about other women. It's a direct window to who she really is. If I hear a woman speaking about other women in an envious manner and she's talking about them with even the slightest hint of jealousy, that tells me that there is an invisible competition going on in her head that no one knows about except her. She's in competition with other women. And for me, that is an insecure woman who I'm not going to want to be around. If you can't uplift your fellow women, don't expect me to uplift you because you can't even show support for other women and what they do. You're over here talking with jealousy and shitting on their accomplishments and their success. That's an ugly trait that I'm not going to want to be around. Now, if she speaks positively about other women with admiration and respect, that shows how she sees herself. She is standing on firm, solid grounds within herself. Real queens don't knock each other's crowns off. They fix them. And if a woman says, I'm blunt, I'm honest, I just say it how it is, I speak facts, that tells me that she's harsh and she's emotionally projecting, tearing a woman down for her outfit, tearing a woman down for her goals, her accomplishments, tearing a woman down for her body. You're just wearing a t-shirt that says I'm being real, but in reality what you're doing is you're emotionally projecting. You're not being brutally honest, you're being fucked up. And science backs this up. In psychology, it's called social comparison theory. It's the idea that you have to constantly criticize others to manage your own insecurities at their expense by elevating your self-esteem above them temporarily. So you want to bring them down because you feel insecure about yourself. And logically speaking, if your inner world is full of peace, you're not going to be out here trying to tear others down. Happy people don't hate on others. They're too busy living and being happy. And that is exactly why I pay really close attention to how a woman expresses herself about other women. Because there's a lot of women out here with internalized misogyny.
Pygmy girls are so annoying and dangerous to all women. They'll throw any woman under the bus for male approval because her personality trait is that she's not like other women. And let's be honest, men aren't really known for their critical thinking skills. They'll sit back and enjoy the content from these pygmy girls like thirsty dogs, never realizing that these women are just perpetuating the same toxic behavior that keeps men emotionally stunted. But hey, who needs emotional intelligence when you have a pygmy girl to tell you how special you are? Pygmy girls are a man's safety net. They respect men for just existing, no effort required. Without them, men would actually have to earn respect from women. But why do all that hard work when you can just find a pygmy girl? The pygmy will always find a way to side with men. She doesn't just tolerate men's worst behaviors. She justifies it and defends it. She does all of this for free. Pygmy women don't actually gain anything. No matter how many men cheer her on, she will never be respected. She'll never be chosen in the way she dreams about. And the second she outlives her usefulness, she'll be thrown away like expired milk. And when that day comes, no woman will be there to save her. The men she defended won't save her. They'll just replace her with a younger, 18-year-old pygmy girl who's even more desperate for male approval. Pygmy girls are just a symptom of a much bigger problem. Men's inability to handle a woman who doesn't bow down to them. Because men are too insecure to handle strong and independent women who don't cater to their fantasies. Pygmy girls are a reflection of male weakness. And until men learn how to confront their own weaknesses, this cycle will continue. Being considered special by a man who doesn't value equality isn't the flex you think it is.
So if you think they don't know, the next time you're around men and you're trying to do all those things to get their, validation, to get them to like you, to put another woman down, to agree with everything that they are doing and saying and so on and so forth, you're asking yourself, why is it that these men are not coming after me, or they are not picking me, or they are not choosing me, although I'm doing X, Y, and Z for them and I agree with them, and, it's because they know. It's because they know you're not being yourself. They know you're not being genuine. They know you're being fake. They know you are trying so hard. They know you're auditioning. They know it's easy. They know it. And I know we've all learned certain things from our parents and the generations before because of patriarchy, okay? A lot of women have that ingrained in them because of patriarchy. They are told certain things when they were young about how to behave around men, how to be almost submissive, agree with men, and so on and so forth. And that's all they know. Okay? That's all. They don't know any other thing. They don't know any better. That's all they know. So that's all they've learned. But it's time for you to unlearn some of these things. If you don't unlearn it, it will go a long way to affect you, not anybody else. Okay? Because the outcomes for most of these women is really bad. All you do is end up in a relationship or a marriage. You get this man cheating on you, mistreating you, treating you so badly, okay? But you can't leave because you've already set your standards. You accepted the bare minimum. You said it was okay. You said you would iron his clothes for him to go and cheat. You said you are okay with working 30, 40 hours a day because you're a hard worker. You said you don't mind taking care of the kids from morning to sundown. You said all those things because you said that about other women. You accepted that when he was saying that about other women. You said it was okay for you because you are that woman who doesn't mind working 60 hours, paying half of the bills, cooking and cleaning, taking care of the kids. You don't seek help. You think it's a woman's job, and so on and so forth. And now there you are, crying, suffering, miserable, because this man has you exactly where he wants you. He's cheating on you, bringing you outside babies, bringing you STIs, not doing what he's supposed to do. You look your best, but still he's not seeing you. You are trying, you are jumping through hoops, you are doing everything and anything at all for his validation. And he's like, I've seen all of this before. This is not new. So if that's the kind of person you are, okay, just know that they know. That's all I came here to say. Just know that they know. They are very much aware. You are an easy target. And they are going to use you, okay? Because that's the most outcome you're going to get. They are going to use you. They are going to drain you. They will take you for everything that you are and have, until there's nothing more to take. And if that's what you want for yourself, by all means, continue. But don't say we didn't tell you. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here and I'll see you again in another video. Take care of yourselves and one another. Bye.